I think the main thing he's going to ask for is that the European Court of Justice shouldn't have any role in the Northern Ireland Protocol. And the problem there is because goods can go from Northern Ireland to the Republic. If the ECJ is there, it's essentially in the Irish Sea, and that's held to be a sort of sovereign British responsibility. Quite what else they want, I think, is unclear at the moment. More than sausages, but the EU says that they've given them more than sausages. So I think we have to wait for the details of what the European Union is going to say, and also actually what Lord Frost is going to put into his legal text that they say they're going to release during the week.
Hint, I suppose, of what we can expect in that speech at Tory conference this week, didn't we, where he essentially said that that deal that he negotiated, he kind of knew was not workable, and now they want to change it. And, you know, of course, he's given this deadline, hasn't he, to the EU to try and solve this problem by November. And if not, you know, arguably, he'll say that it's undermining the Good Friday Agreement and they might need to invoke Article 16, which would allow us, the UK, to walk away unilaterally from the protocol.
Yes, indeed. But the problem there is that it would be a violation of the Good Friday Agreement. And perhaps the first person on the phone would be Joe Biden. The UK has got pretty serious obligations so far as the Good Friday Agreement is concerned. And these have not figured very much in the analysis over the last several years. The real question, I think, that Frost and Johnson need to answer is, why did you sign it? I mean, why, did you not understand it? Did you have your fingers crossed behind your back? But why did you sign this deal? Signing an international treaty and ripping it up is actually very serious stuff. And so I think that the prerequisite for getting a sort of sensible compromise here is that the Brits show some preparedness to compromise. And they essentially say, if not sorry, look, things have changed in this very fundamental way, and we both agree that we've got to move forward. At the moment, the paper they produced in July on their proposals was an embarrassment. I don't know whether you've read it. It was toe-curling in its self-pity about, Parliament made us do it and so on. So I think the British government has got to make a move more than just banging the drum.
And Alan Winters, just to get your view, why do you think that it was signed by us?
Well, I think it's the politics of getting Brexit done.
Right.
That was the slogan in 2019, but of course it pervaded politics previously. Brexit was very difficult. The Conservative Party had promised to get it done, and they couldn't persuade Parliament. Remember, it's Parliament, which is intended to be the sovereign body in the UK, that made these difficulties. So I think essentially they felt just sign everything, talk later. That's not a way that international relations can be done in a way that prospers. And I think we got to hear from not only the Europeans, but also the Americans if we are cavalier about just walking away and letting the consequences take place.
Yeah, I was in Northern Ireland in August, Alan, making a documentary about identity, and there are many people there who feel, especially loyalists, unionists, who feel that this border in the Irish Sea, in some way it is impacting on their Britishness. They feel that really it's just the start of a very long process towards a reunification of Ireland, which they say is unacceptable, and they just want the whole protocol scrapped completely.
Yes, indeed. I feel for them. Remember, the Ulster Unionists, the biggest party, were very important in Mrs May's government. They held the swing votes. They felt that they had a commitment from Boris Johnson not to have any internal borders within Great Britain to Northern Ireland trade, and indeed, essentially, he didn't honour it. So I think that they are in a really serious position. I'm afraid I rather agree with them, that as economic activity begins to focus more on the Republic, because it's just easier that way, pretty naturally the politics will tend to lean that way. It's a long process, but I think it's clearly tilted a little bit in that direction. So I have a lot of sympathy with the Northern Irish. I think the British government has got to come up with something rather more imaginative than just saying, well, look, we signed something, but now let's just go back to our original draft with an honesty box for exporters. British exporters will just say, oh, this is fine, there's nothing for the EU to worry about this, don't worry. No country in the world runs its customs like that.
They're just, essentially, they're trying to square a circle, aren't they? Either way, you're going to have either a border on the island of Ireland or a border in the Irish Sea. You can't have it both ways.
That's right, with the form of Brexit that we've got. Theresa May it's gradually dawned on her, and that's where her proposals for really rather close alignment between the whole of the UK and Europe came from. The only way that she could avoid that border somewhere around Ireland. Mr. Johnson wants to go a different way, and so it is exactly the case that there is going to be a border somewhere. We are committed internationally to it not being on the land mass of Ireland, so it's going to be in the Irish Sea. Now, the issue, I think, then is how do you make that border as least troublesome as possible? And that is going to require, I think, the UK government to come a bit towards where the European Union is. For instance, this veterinary agreement that's been suggested, that means that you won't have to test animal products as they cross. That, I think, is the most plausible technical solution. Politically, it's very difficult because Frost and Johnson have been going around declaring that our sovereignty doesn't require us to cooperate with anybody. And so they've got quite a lot of politicking to do to bring this to a constructive conclusion, I think.
Yeah, and it's high stakes, isn't it? Of course, the Good Friday Agreement, incredibly precarious, and Joe Biden will be keeping a close eye on it. And of course, the dynamic to all of that, also incredibly important to us in a world where we're trying to find a trade agreement with the United States. Alan Winters, really interesting to get your thoughts this morning. UK Trade Policy Observatory and Professor of Economics at the University of Sussex. Thank you very much.